pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brian, can we have the roll call, please?
Atkins?
Here.
Johnson? Jones?
Here.
Howe?
Here.
Long?
Here.
Pearson?
Here.
Hartman?
Ed, can you hear us?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Did you get everybody?
Yep.
We'd like to have approval for the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Roll call.
Atkins? Jones?
Yes.
Howe?
Yes.
Long?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Before we go any further, we'd like to ask everyone to silence their mobile phones. Okay. Ryan, would you like to start us off with the first thing on the agenda?
We need to talk about finding of facts.
Okay.
Finding of facts from last month,
Okay.
we received 0 papers. So you've got 3 finding of facts from last month, and we never received anything from you guys.
So we need to get those to you.
I thought we had it.
We needed one.
No, I can't give you one, right? I was
I
not here.
think we
Right,
didn't, what's
okay.
the reason why we didn't have, didn't we have a
Get
delay?
my minutes, I get mine
I
to
had one.
you last week,
I remember filling mine out.
Oh, last week?
or now last month.
I give everything to you guys, so I have no idea. Everything got moved over to Brenda. So,
So if you filled them out, we didn't get them from the rest of the group then, evidently. She was supposed to get a hold of Ed and let Ed know again.
I thought we had, I know I filled them out, so. Okay, anyhow.
So each
Each one of us.
need
Mhm.
to do a separate finding of facts.
Right.
Okay.
Usually
Again.
you guys would do them, and then we would put them together with the comments that are put in there. And that's what we would normally present here.
Okay, and they should have been in every packet where we dealt with that docket number.
Right.
So that would have been the Melissa Williams, the Lisa Craig, and the Christopher Gibbons.
Right.
Those are the facts and findings? Okay.
Back as last week.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
So the paperwork was given to Brenda?
yes, because Brenda's the one that actually does everything else. So I just grab it from the meeting because she can't be here and hand her everything from the meeting.
Yeah, she would do the combination of the finding of facts. And normally, that's what she does. And we've had, if you remember, we kind of talked before, because we only got one, I think, 2 meetings ago.
Well, one of them wasn't passed, so
Yeah.
it was tabled.
Right, that one was tabled.
I think the Bowers was the one that we got one in, and it was yes, yes, no, no, but that's it. So we had, David kind of went through finding of facts and kind of what we need to have, and then last month, if we got yours, we got one.
Well, I think I've turned mine in.
Okay. Okay, so,
Would these three have been all in the same meeting?
Yes,
Yeah,
we had
Melissa
4 last
Williams.
month.
Okay.
uh, Lisa
That would be
Craig.
January's.
and Christopher Gibbons. Those are the three that they need. Is that correct, Brian? The three that I just named. Okay, we'll
Yeah.
get those in and get those to you before we leave today.
Can I offer some advice on how to do that?
Please.
Go ahead.
If you'll notice, I think in the package, they have the forms. And then for today, for each one of these, for Ms. Williams, Ms. Craig, and Mr. Gibbons, there's 4 things that we look at. And what you're doing is, like, the approval will not be interested in public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Ideally, as you hear that presentation, maybe make a note or 2 on whether you agree or disagree with that and why. And then 2, the use or value of the area subject to the property, include the variance will not be adversely affected. Same thing, do you agree with that or disagree? And then maybe make a note or 2 why. I think as you have this form while you're doing the hearing, then you don't have to go back and try to remember what happened, especially if you're hearing 3 or 4. It can be quite confusing. So I think if you have these forms and you do them as you go and you just make notes, you can almost turn them in after the meeting. Or think about it, then email them back in or whatever. But the reason this is very important, and I don't think any of these would be challenged anyway, so I don't think it's a big deal on these 3. If we ever go to court,
Yeah.
this is what the court's gonna look at.
Yeah.
They're gonna look at your findings and facts and determine whether the facts you put in for each one of these fit 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Right.
So that's why we need it that way. And, most of the time, you probably will never have to worry about it. Like the 3 that you have for tonight were all approved, and generally when something's approved, people are probably not gonna litigate it unless it may be an adverse landowner. So if you just do that, and maybe even if you do it while the meeting's going, it'll be fresh in your mind, and then that'll cover it for you guys. Hope that helps.
And yes gets it approved, correct?
I'm sorry.
Yes gets it approved?
Yes, yeah, you need to find each one of these 4
Okay.
to get it approved, correct?
I can't flip that. I must have turned it in. I turned that, I remember filling that out, so, okay.
And for what it's worth, if it helps refresh your memory, as we were doing each one of these, I kind of looked at each one, and I thought they all met the criteria, 1 through 4 as we were doing them. And obviously, you guys did too, because you, I think most, at least a majority of you voted to approve them.
You want to go with the next item on the agenda?
Move on to the public hearing.
Yes.
We have a continuance of the public hearing from last month. It is BZA docket 02 BZA V-24. Hearing date is February 5th. Applicants are Max and Connie Zirkle. Property location is 3623 South 400 East, Marion, Indiana, 46953. Property is currently zoned residential suburban. Project description, Mr. and Mrs. Zirkle are asking for a development standard variance from the area-wide zoning ordinance to allow 1,800 square foot accessory building to be 7 foot from the north property line instead of the required 25 foot in residential suburban zoning district. Staff noted, although the property is approximately 5 acres, there is very limited space for the improvement. Noted to look at the aerial picture. Also noted that approximately 60% of this property is located in a floodway with another 5% in a floodplain or flood fringe. We also noted that the septic tank and absorption field is located on the northwest corner of the property. Also, the area between the house going south down to the floodplain has a slope that measures 842 feet above sea level, that drops down to 828 feet above sea level, to the edge of the floodplain. This area would need a tremendous amount of fill dirt and compaction to even be able to consider construction. This would be at a cost greater than the construction itself. Also noting that the driveway has been rerouted to allow for the new barn. One of the biggies that I wanted to again point out, the 25-foot setback, when we measure side setbacks, that is 10% of the frontage with a max of 25 foot. The Zirkles property is 726.84 feet wide. This is the reason that the setback is 25 foot on the sides, is because of how large it is. Project was started due to a mix-up in locations. We originally thought the new pole barn was replacing the old pole barn. Also noting that the pole barn is not impeding on any other buildings or structures, and the staff gave it a favorable recommendation.
At the last meeting, we had a mix-up as far as the documents and everything, and so we've got that corrected. And so, even though we've taken the vote for the last time, if we could come up with some kind of a amendment motion to alleviate what happened the first time, we could probably get this taken care of. So if somebody wanted to make a motion to, see if,
Questions?
go ahead.
Did we ever determine the origin of this drawing? Because I think there was some confusion about the amended drawing for what
Yeah.
was the original.
Yes, and that's what Brian was saying, that he's had that corrected.
Yeah, they brought this in. The map we had before was the square around the old
Okay.
barn.
So it's my understanding we can't necessarily open the public hearing again, but we can ask questions, correct?
Right.
And also an amendment, if we want to change the motion and put in another motion, we can't change the vote from last time, but what we can do is put in some kind of amendment that somebody wants to say that they corrected the information that they gave
We
us.
didn't have enough votes.
But we didn't have enough vote the last time.
Yeah, I believe you can make any motion.
Is that,
Yes.
is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're basically back to square one.
Yeah, okay.
Other than you've had the public hearing.
Okay, all right.
So your fence is not the property line. The property line actually is further to the north than the fence?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Randy, we'd like for him to come up to the podium and sign his name and her name and whoever's going to speak.
Okay. Are they allowed, I mean, can they reopen
You
it?
ask questions.
But they
I don't
can't
think you
reopen.
can reopen that public hearing.
Right to ask
Gotcha.
questions.
I don't think you can reopen a public hearing.
No,
Yep.
we're not reopening it, we're just
Asking questions.
asking questions. Here we go.
So there was mention in the public hearing that there's a riser somewhere close to the side ditch that the county had put in?
There are two drains, which we do, the previous owner is here today if you have any questions for him, but there are two 18-inch drains that run directly into the creek. There's one that runs on the other side of Mr. Hensley's driveway all the way under ours to the creek, and then there's also like what would you call that? The ditch right here. Anyways, there's another drain that runs into that ditch. The very tip of that does sit on our property. There's an 18-inch drain there that runs directly to the creek as well. So
So
there's
that-
no possible water problem.
Yeah, that drain is on the south, or on, the south side is on your property?
The north side of, those holes are on the north side of the property.
You're talking on the east, it's on the east side of the property. Where the
It's on the
drains are.
north.
You're right.
It's on the east.
Okay.
From,
We
My
do have those
observation revealed that
helps.
not too far from your driveway, there was a riser drain.
yeah,
Correct.
Okay.
yes, that's right.
Okay. Anybody else got any questions?
That was my main concern.
So we can make a conditional motion, correct?
Right.
Yep.
And I don't know, just to refresh everyone's memory, there was some discussion also about potentially taking the water from the building down towards that slant in towards that creek area that they have, so it doesn't go towards the neighbor's driveway and the other person's property. I think that probably would have helped resolve a lot, at least some of what the neighbors' concerns were with that water coming off and then going into their, on that hard surface. But if they were agreeable, they ran the water through a gutter and then through a tile.
We
down
actually
to
do.
that creek, which might even be in your plan.
We are
anyway.
putting gutters on the building. That's always been the plan. Didn't get that far in the last meeting. And we've also
Sure.
have contacted Bright Sewer and Septic, so we've gone a step further just to address the neighbor's concern. It's gonna cost us an additional $1,800 to run an additional tile down there as well, just to make, there's not a water issue now, but we're doing everything we possibly can to ensure there will never be a water issue.
And you may make that as part of your motion.
So I will make a motion.
Well, Randy, if you could, real quick, I've got a question between planning, zoning, and building code. Building code would only require them to have a form of drainage to 5 foot off their property, or 5 foot off the foundation of the building.
Right? So what's your question?
Can we go beyond what building code requires?
Say it one more time.
Building code would require a form of drainage no less than a minimum of 5 foot off the foundation of the building. If we're talking adding perimeter style draining over to a drain, are we going above what building code requires? Can we do that?
Are you suggesting it's going to, I don't know where it's gonna be, but why couldn't they just run it straight down to the creek?
Sure, that'd be awesome. What I'm saying is, can we as a BZA require them to do more than building code would require?
The short answer is yes to that, absolutely is a condition for the variance that they're asking for. Yes.
So my motion would be with the condition that you have gutters and downspouts with an underground tile into the riser that would be at the west end of, towards the road. Which
Yes,
is what you're planning to do.
correct.
That motion clear? Everybody? Gutters, downspout, underground outlet tile. too.
Correct. Yes.
We'll need a second.
I'll give it a second.
Roll call.
Atkins,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
Yes.
Howe, Long,
Yes.
Pearson,
Yes.
So we're good?
You're good.
Oh my God, thank you.
I'm going to check and make sure you spelled your name correctly. Yeah. Oh, good for you.
So that stuff did make a difference.
That's
That's what-
good.
We'll, next time we're out there for an inspection, we'll have your son.
Thank you.
So then, your last page is?
We're expecting something else, huh? Okay. Is that our only petition for tonight?
Yep.
Was there, we didn't need to know if there was any opposition to that.
No, we didn't have a
Okay.
public hearing.
Okay.
You do have one bullet point down there below adjournment,
Okay.
that was left over when Brenda copied it over.
Okay.
She forgot to get rid of that bullet.
Okay. All right, so, if there's any new business or any public announcements or addressing, if the floor is open to that person? If not,
What?
make a motion.
I'm still a little confused on this paperwork we have to fill out. And why, was the ball dropped or
Yeah,
what happened?
I'm pretty
Because
sure.
I know I turned my
I
paperwork
turned
in.
mine in too.
Well, it's like we probably had yours, no, one else's.
Well, where's mine? Cause I know I remember filling out when I went down there the other day, so.
I will ask Brenda tomorrow, but she said we didn't have them.
You didn't have mine because I thought we just filled out one. I didn't know each one of us had two, so.
Yeah, we always,
Each one of them
Yeah,
comes
we
with
always-
the paperwork.
they always come with paperwork.
Yeah. You guys are veterans. Me and John were just rookies.
Where's that for today? See, I don't have that in
So we need a second for adjournment?
mine. Okay, look, adjournment. Need a motion first.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion carried.
I would like,
Last time we had a 21-minute meeting.
That's that first time.
I would like to put something to you for the